Did you know that one of the greatest philosophers of all time, Arthur Schopenhauer, believed that being single was the key to a happy and meaningful life? He argued that romantic relationships, especially marriage, were nothing more than a trap set by nature to keep the human species going. It sounds pretty extreme, right? But what if he had a point? What if choosing to be single isn't a sign of failure, but a strategic move towards a richer, freer, and more authentic existence? In the next few minutes, we're going to dive deep into Schopenhauer's surprising ideas and explore why flying solo might just be the best decision you ever make. Stick around, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you think about love, loneliness, and your own happiness. So, let's start with Schopenhauer's main argument. He saw the world as driven by a blind, irrational force he called the will to live. Think of it as a powerful, unconscious instinct that pushes all living things to survive and reproduce. This will doesn't care about your personal happiness, your dreams, or your career. It has one goal: to create the next generation. And how does it achieve this? Through what we call love. Schopenhauer argued that the intense attraction, the butterflies in your stomach, the feeling that you've found your other half, it's all an illusion. It's a clever trick engineered by nature to make you fall for someone who is your opposite, someone whose traits will balance out your own weaknesses to produce the most average, well-rounded offspring possible. For example, a very tall person might feel an inexplicable pull towards a shorter person, or a calm, quiet individual might be fascinated by someone loud and extroverted. According to Schopenhauer, this isn't a romantic mystery. It's a biological calculation. The moment this biological goal is achieved, the magic disappears, and you're left trapped with a person you may have very little in common with. The passion fades, and what remains are the daily struggles of compromise and coexistence. He believed that marriage was like paying a debt in your youth that you have to spend the rest of your life repaying. So, when you feel that intense, all-consuming love, is it really you feeling it? Or is it just nature's puppet show? This leads us to Schopenhauer's second major point: the conflict between the genius and the common man. Now, when he says genius, he doesn't just mean someone with a high IQ. He's talking about anyone who lives for something higher than mere survival and reproduction. This could be an artist, a scientist, a writer, a philosopher, or anyone deeply committed to a personal passion or a great intellectual pursuit. For these individuals, their life's purpose is to create, to discover, to understand. This requires immense focus, solitude, and freedom. A romantic relationship, from this perspective, is the ultimate distraction. It demands your time, your emotional energy, and your mental space. It forces you to deal with the mundane dramas and obligations of domestic life, pulling you away from your true calling. Schopenhauer believed that a man of genius is fundamentally unsuited for marriage. He put it quite bluntly: marry, and you have halved your rights and doubled your duties. He saw a clear choice. You can either serve your passion or serve a family. You can't do both effectively. While the common person finds fulfillment in raising children and continuing the species, the genius finds it in contributing something lasting to human knowledge or culture. They are essentially serving humanity as a whole, rather than just their own bloodline. The love affairs of great minds, he noted, were almost always unhappy, precisely because their passion for their work would always clash with the demands of romantic love. So, the question is, what are you living for? Are you here to follow the biological script, or are you here to write your own? Now, this all might sound a bit pessimistic, but here's where it gets empowering. By choosing to stay single, Schopenhauer argues, you are reclaiming your freedom from nature's trap. You are choosing intellectual and spiritual independence over biological destiny. Think about it. When you're single, your time is your own. You can dedicate your evenings to learning a new skill, reading great books, or working on a project that truly excites you. Your financial resources are entirely under your control. You can travel, invest in your education, or build a life that is perfectly tailored to your own values and interests without needing to compromise with a partner. More importantly, your emotional energy isn't spent navigating the highs and lows of a relationship. You are free from the jealousy, the arguments, and the heartbreak that so often come with romantic entanglements. Schopenhauer saw solitude not as a state of loneliness, but as a state of liberation. It's in solitude that we can truly get to know ourselves, listen to our own thoughts without the noise of another person's opinions and desires. It is the fertile ground where creativity and deep thinking can flourish. He believed that a person who doesn't love solitude doesn't love freedom, because you are only truly free when you are alone. Being single isn't about being lonely. It's about being self-possessed. It's about having the courage to be your own companion and to build a life that is rich and meaningful on your own terms. Doesn't that sound more like a superpower than a sad situation? So, how do we actually achieve this state of happy solitude? Schopenhauer gives us a path through art and philosophy. He believed that contemplating art was one of the few ways we could temporarily escape the constant striving of the will. When you get lost in a beautiful piece of music, a breathtaking painting, or a powerful story, you forget about your personal desires and anxieties. For a moment, you become a pure, knowing subject, simply observing the world without wanting anything from it. This provides a profound sense of peace and relief. Art allows you to access a higher state of consciousness, one that is free from the selfish drives of the ego. Philosophy, on the other hand, gives you the tools to understand the nature of your own suffering. By studying the great thinkers, you realize that your personal struggles are not unique. They are part of the universal human condition. This understanding brings a sense of detachment. You learn to observe your own emotions and desires without being controlled by them. You begin to see the game that nature is playing and can consciously choose not to participate. This intellectual journey strengthens your mind and makes you more resilient. It helps you find happiness not in external things like relationships or possessions, which are always uncertain, but within yourself, in the richness of your own mind. By cultivating an inner life through art and knowledge, you become a fortress. You become someone who is complete on their own, someone who doesn't need another person to feel whole. Your happiness becomes unshakable because it's built on a foundation that no one can take away from you. To wrap it all up, Schopenhauer's philosophy isn't really anti-love. It's pro-freedom. It's a powerful reminder that the conventional path of romance and marriage isn't the only route to a fulfilling life. He challenges us to question the biological and social pressures that push us into relationships. He asks us to consider whether we are sacrificing our true potential for the sake of a romantic illusion. For him, choosing to be single is an act of intellectual courage. It's about prioritizing personal growth, creative passion, and spiritual freedom over the demands of nature's reproductive script. It's about finding contentment within yourself rather than seeking it in another person. Now, this path isn't for everyone, and it doesn't mean you have to shut yourself off from all human connection. Friendship, community, and intellectual companionship were all things Schopenhauer valued. The key difference is that these relationships are based on shared interests and mutual respect, not on a blind, biological impulse. They enrich your life without compromising your independence. So, the next time you feel pressured to find the one, remember Schopenhauer. Perhaps the greatest love story you can ever have is the one you have with your own mind, your own freedom, and your own potential. Thank you so much for watching. If these ideas sparked something in you and you want to explore more challenging thoughts from the world's greatest philosophers, make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.